What is going on this evening, family? Welcome to the Family Fun Financial Fridays. So good to have you here. As tonight, we are going to, I'm going to say we, because this is going to be an interactive session tonight for those of you who are joining me live. And even for those who are watching the replay, you still have an opportunity to chime in and be interactive this evening. So tonight I wanted to explore the idea of how do we really make $1 million, right? Like, isn't that the American dream to, go to school, get a good education? What else? What else is the part of the American dream, right? Get married, possibly have kids, own a home, and make $1 million. That's the goal, right? That is the absolute American dream. That is what's been told to us. So sit back, get ready to be interactive because I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to call you out because I can see some names on the chat. I see them coming in. We got our people here. I'm going to go ahead and cue up the intro video. And when we get back, we'll get into it. So finger pressing button. Let's go. Alrighty, welcome back, right? New intro, greeting, have fun playing around with that. But welcome back. So glad again that everybody's here. I can see people coming into the chat. So for those of you who may be just joining and not know yet who I am, my name is Tyrone Gregory, and I am your favorite uncle cousin, except to a few like Van Hennessy, who is my uncle, so I can't be his uncle. So yeah, outside of that, Tyrone Gregory, your favorite uncle cousin, the self-employed tax guy. Again, welcoming you to the, what do we call it now? It is the Family Fun Financial Fridays, because that's what we do. Everybody here is family. The goal is to have fun. We want to talk about finances, and of course, it's Friday, right? So yes, again, if you can hear me, if you can see me, I always ask that you give me like some sort of thumbs up in the chat as I see everybody coming in. So let me just see who is checking in this evening. We got Mr. Muhammad here, right. So good evening to you, Mr. Hakeem Muhammad. Of course, y'all can see it's just me tonight, right? I don't have Christian here with me because he's a teenager. He's doing what teenagers do, right? Hanging out with his friends. So he's gone somewhere. I told him it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty leaving Pops to manage everything by myself. So, it's okay. He's gone, but he'll be back. All right. So forgive me, right? Because it is now me working the comments. So if I miss your comment, if I don't see it, by all means, do something in the chat that will bring it to my attention so I can see it here, right? It's good to see everybody that's returning. Walter, what's going on? I see you. What's up with you here? Good old gimme cornbread, right? Sending nothing but good vibes our way. Much appreciated. And then let's see here. Crystal Loams, I see you, says happy Friday, Uncle Cuppa. Happy Friday to you. So glad that everybody's here, man. Yes. Let me guess here. Walter, are you watching on both Facebook and YouTube? Is that what I saw you saying here, Walter? That yes, you got it going on, or I got Facebook going. Hopefully good. I'm glad that we're able to see it on Facebook. Let me double check that though, just to make sure. So, man, very interesting. While I'm double checking that and seeing how things is going on the other side, because YouTube is definitely popping. Making sure we good here over on Facebook. Good. I see it. All right. So, in my hand, right, in this single sheet of paper and my little notes scribbled across is or at least my idea, my concept, my brain map on how to make $1 million. So before I really get started with the question, I want you guys to type in the chat if you are currently in the seven-figure club, right? If you are currently earning seven figures plus, let me know. Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. Oh man, hey, Mr. Sandiford, good. Yes, I'm glad you dig in the shirt, man. This was a Father's Day gift from my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law. Man, they surprised me with it. They know I am an adult, but I'm also a kid. I still watch cartoons. I love Dexter's Laboratory, one of my favorites. So they happened to give me this shirt, which reminds me, man, a happy last Friday. I signed off and didn't even send a happy Father's Day to all the men out there who are both biologically fathers and those who are just community fathers, right? You don't necessarily have to have a child to be a father to someone. If you are mentoring, if you are providing support, if you are just being there to listen to somebody that is younger than you, then I would say you are a father, man, and I applaud you for doing so. So happy belated Father's Day to you. Quick shout out to my wife, my mother, my grandmother, who threw me and my brother a surprise Father's Day barbecue. It's the greatest. Oh man, it was the cutest thing that all our daughters, or not all, because both me and my brother only have one daughter each. So they served us the food. We weren't allowed to do nothing but kick back and enjoy it. Invited, my other brother over and his wife came. It was a beautiful day, man. So shout out to my family for doing all that. But let's get back to. I really want to see if you right now, even if you're watching the replay, make sure you put it in the comment. I want to know, are you currently, or even if you've done it in the past, maybe you're not right now, but maybe you've had the pleasure, maybe you've had the experience of earning $1 million, okay? So, Give Me Cornbread says, nope, never made $1 million. Okay, good. I appreciate you being there. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I was reading what this comment, but that's it. That's the only person. We got a lot of people on the live, and only one person said they haven't made $1 million. What about you, Uncle Vin? I told you I was gonna call some names. We're gonna make this interactive tonight. Who else? Somebody else can say that they've never made $1 million. I want to see if you have. What the? Go look, there we go. See, I had to call some names there. The same one. Wanta says, no, have not made $1 million, right? Uncle Vin says, and I like your reply, Uncle Vin, because that right there is what we're talking about. Uncle Vin says, not yet. I will, but not yet. Good. I like Crystal. You know what? Almost Monopoly money, right? Does Monopoly money count? Almost, because if you can make $1 million in Monopoly, then you pretty much have the mindset, the idea, right? Now, we can't go out and spend and buy nothing with Monopoly money, but having $1 million Monopoly money is close to the real thing in real life, because I get real serious when we play Monopoly in my house to the point where I don't even want to play no more, because I get real frustrated and get upset. So it's very rare that we play Monopoly in my house because it can get real, right? So I'm almost say Monopoly money counts, right? Man, we got some more people. A lot of no's coming in, and that's good, right? Hakeem says no. Okay. Let's see. Mr. Phil for president says that nowhere near me. Got to get rid of this $1 million of debt first. Okay. If I can send this, get that sent. There we go. Okay. Nowhere near 1 mil. Got to get rid of $1 million of debt first. Well, we could talk about that, right? Because there's a such thing as good debt, bad debt. Okay. Mr. Linton, Ian Linton says not yet. Good. I love the not yet, right? Because it's the mentality. We're gonna talk about that here. All right. Natalie, welcome. Good to see you. Glad to see that you are here. All right. Okay. Well, Mr. Mahan, we may have you chime in, right? Because if you're working towards it, maybe you know something that you can add to my single sheet, right? My idea of what it takes to make $1 million, man. So appreciate everybody tuning in and saying that they haven't made $1 million. I'm going to raise my hand and say, I haven't made $1 million. And really, that's what sparked this whole thing here. Phil for President, I see you commented. Me and you'll definitely chat offline here. Asia May, I see you. Hey, welcome. Glad to see that you're here. We got a few people chiming in, so I'm going to send their comments through, and then we'll kind of get right to it here because we got some new faces, right? Indico's 29. If this thing, let's go ahead and send that one. Says, hey, right? Like Asia May said that she is ready to learn. What are you ready to learn? You just want to learn how to make $1 million? Shit? Yeah, we all do, right? But it's very interesting that my ideas or my thoughts on how to make $1 million can fit on one sheet of paper, right? It can, there it is. It's like my roadmap. And some people are like, it really can't be that simple, right? It can't be that simple to fit on a sheet of paper. Well, to that, I'll say two things. First thing I'm going to say is we cannot be afraid of simplicity. That is it kills us every time, right? Every time we say, okay, yeah, all you got to do is this, and we be like, nah, that can't be that simple. You're lying. It ain't that simple, right? I'm not going to do it because I don't believe it, because I can't believe it can be that simple. That's what we tell ourselves. And because of that, we don't do it, right? Because we go digging for something else. We be like, man, before I start, let me go verify this. I'm going to go research this. I'm going to go read this book. I'm going to go take this course. I'm going to do all this because it cannot be that simple. Well, it is. If you think about it, just do it. It's just that simple. Second part to that is, yes, this is a single sheet of paper, right? And just like I consider this like a map, right? A map that's going to get you from A to Z. A is the starting point. Z is that $1 million mark. And from A to Z, there is a journey, okay? There is going to be a journey, just like any other map. If you ever watched any kind of television show where they're on a treasure hunt or their goals to get something, there is a journey. It's just not a simple, I'm going to take one step and be there. It doesn't work like that. So it is simple because it's on one sheet of paper, right? And I say Indico says it's so easy, it's hard. Yes, right? And that's kind of the mentality that we have. It's so easy, it's hard. But the journey, okay? Yes, I've summarized everything into one sheet, and there is a journey that takes place to get there. And in that journey, of course, we're going to have our challenges. Of course, we're going to have our ups and downs. Of course, we're going to have our minor setbacks and things like that. It's not a cakewalk from here to $1 million. But can it be achieved? Yes. I mean, if it was impossible, nobody would do it. And that's part one of my journey, right? The first bullet point is we have to look at $1 million differently. If it was impossible, I'm gonna repeat myself, if it was impossible, nobody would do it. But that's not the case, because there is approximately 18.6 million millionaires just here in the U.S., okay? 18.6 million millionaires just here in the U.S. I didn't do a global search. I'm pretty sure if I did a global search, it would be a lot more. But as of right now, it is just here in the U.S., there is 18.6 million millionaires here in the U.S. And when we look at how many actual people are here in the U.S., there's over 300 million people populating the continent U.S., right? So 18.6 of 300, so that's about, around 6% of the world's population, or not the world, of the U.S. population is a millionaire. So if it's that many people doing it, then it has to be able to be done. So the question is, why aren't we? Right? What is it that's different from them that's different from us, right? What's the difference between you and I and Bill Gates, right? What's the difference between you and I and Steve Bezos, the dude from Amazon? What's the difference? They both wake up in the morning. They put their pants on one leg at a time, same as we do. What makes them different? And I'm gonna tell you the first thing, my first noted here is that we have to adjust our mentality. We have to really look at what is $1 million. And I'm gonna share my screen here just for a second so we'll see. Where is it here? Now wait a minute, Walter. You said you thinking that if we can make $250 a day for 365 days, well, what does that give us? Well, I'm gonna do the math. That's what I'm gonna bring up on my screen here. So let me go ahead and show this. We're going to look at this calculator. I'm gonna pull up 1 million. How many zeros is that? 6, right? Because we're the 7 digit. There it is. $1 million. Stare at it. Look at it hard. There it is, right there on the screen. $1 million. Why does that look so unattainable, right? I mean, yes, it's a very large number. It's 6 digits, right? I know a lot of us probably find it even difficult just to get into the 100,000 mark, right? We may only be living in a 5-digit world, but that's okay. Because if we can make 5 digits, then we can make 7. We just have to change our mindset. We have to change the way we look at it, right? We just look at it. It's just a number, okay? And yeah, don't worry about it, Walter. I said, yeah, we got to do. But we're gonna break down some math because to me, the way we attack $1 million is the way we look at it. It's the way we view it in our minds, right? Because we can see $1 million visually and be like, man, that's a lot. Man, that's almost unattainable. But let's break it down, okay? We gonna break it down to something more easier to deal with. So let me get my pen and paper because I want to keep track of these numbers. I'm gonna write these numbers down as we go. So the first thing I want to do with this $1 million, again, the mentality of it. It's a large number, but let's break it down to something we can handle, right? Let's break it down into chunks. How much is that a day? So we divide this $1 million divided by, on average, 365. That's how many days, right? 365 days in a year. That breaks down to 2,740. So I'm gonna put 2740. I like to round up, even numbers here. That's how much that really breaks down to per day. Now, 2740 is a more manageable number, right? It is a very small number. In our lifetime, we've seen $2,740. We may not have seen $1 million, but we've seen $2,740. So to us, that's attainable. We can get $2,740. The goal is now that's $2,740 a day, which brings me to my next point. So now that we've broken it down, we can break that down today. We can actually go granular with it. So if we wanted to divide that by 24, right? That's how many hours are in a day. That brings us up, I like to round up. Let's just say that's $114, or I'm gonna say $115. I know it's 1 to 14, but I like to round up, right? Always have extra. So if we want to break it down, that is going to be $115 per hour $2,740 per day at 365 days a year. That gets us $1 million. And again, we're looking at it per hour. 115 is more manageable, right? So now the number doesn't look so big. $1 million doesn't seem that far out of our reach because we can make $115, right? Some of us make that in a day. Some of us make that in an hour. It doesn't. We can make $115. We've seen $150. Some of you probably got $115 in your wallet or in your purse or in your bag right now. That's attainable. So now all we have to do is say, okay, if that's what $1 million is at its core, $115 an hour, $2,740 a day, give or take, what does it take to reach that? So now we're not aiming for some massive goal, right? $1 million in total. No, we broke it down to something more manageable to us. And so now that we know the number, and you can break this number down however you want to. My point for us, the first point on the roadmap for us to attaining $1 million is to change the way we look at it, to change the way we view it. Let's not look at it as this large, huge, unattainable number. Let's break it down to something we can actually attain. To me, that's number one, okay? And when we do that, we come to the second part of the question: how do we attain it? How do we actually attain that? And over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about wealth accumulation. We've been talking about multiple income streams. So there's a lot of things we can do to reach $115 an hour. But I want to speak on it from the purpose of business, right? From the purpose of us doing things as business owners, as self-employed individual. How do we do that from that perspective? Well, I'll be honest with you, which is the next point on here. We have to sell something. I know we don't like sales, but as business folks, as those of us who have a goal of reaching $1 million, we have to sell something. And again, this topic came about because I was having a conversation with my family. They always seem to be the one to be the catalyst for all these things I'm talking about. And it really just came about. I don't even know what we were talking about, but the idea of how do you make $1 million? And my kids asked, well, Dad, how come we don't have $1 million? How come you haven't made $1 million? And I'm like, man, that's a good question. How hard could it be? And I realized within myself, being completely transparent, that I don't sell nothing. I really don't. And when we think about some of the largest some of the largest retailers out there, some of the most of the millionaires out there, they have something that they sell, right? Jeff Bezos has Amazon. I can't even talk. Amazon. All he do is sell. And part of his strategy, which is another part we're going to get to, he's not doing the selling. There's other people selling on his site that he collects a percentage of. But somebody's selling something, right? When we look at the Walmart family, I can't think of the name right now, but think about the Walmarts that are across the country. They are selling something. They're selling products, right? People walk through Walmart doors all the time, and they're buying because Walmart is selling. Apple makes billions of dollars because they sell something. Apple products. Microsoft makes billions of dollars because he sells something. Microsoft. We must, thank you, it is the Walton family. I appreciate that. We must sell something in order for us to make any kind of revenue, and this is in business, we must sell something. So I want to kind of play around with that idea real quick. I see some folks here on here. Miss Chiz, welcome to the show. Glad to see you live. Good to see you here. What is this, Don? This is a formula? This is like, what is this? This formula, FV equals PV time. You're going to have to explain that formula to us all here. Vin, my uncle, definitely put it out there. I appreciate it. It's for the Walmarts. It is the Walton family. Appreciate that. Francis, glad that you are here. Good to be here with me. I appreciate it. So, yes, let's talk about selling something. Let me put myself out there. I have a business. It's a tax business, right? But I really don't sell it. I'll be honest with you. I offer it. And offering something is strategically and very specifically different than selling something, right? I offer my service because I can do it, right? I don't sell it because it's technically, taxes is something I know how to do. I think I'm fairly good at it, but, I prefer teaching, okay? Which, and again, all this just kind of came like a flood of thoughts to me recently when my kids hit me with that question, like, man, I really don't sell nothing. I offer my services, okay? If you notice, I barely advertise it, okay? I barely mention it. If somebody say, hey, can you? I say, yes, of course I can, but I don't sell anything. I don't have anything to sell. And I have not had anything to sell in a very long time. I've always sold something for somebody else. When I worked in corporate America, I was in sales. I've always been in sales, worked for T-Mobile, selling cell phones, worked for Sprint selling cell phones, went to work for pest control, selling pest control services. I did, what else have I done in sales? Even when I worked for another retail tax company, I was selling their services. I've never myself had anything or any kind of product that I've created to sell. I've always offered, and even though I got my own business, it's an offering. And here's the difference between an offering and selling. When you offer somebody something, it's as simply as saying, hey, I have a piece of gum. Would you like a piece? Or would you like some? Their response is either going to be yes or no. That's an offering. It's very simple. It's, I don't even want to, I'm not going to say that. But yeah, it's the easiest thing to do. Would you like some? Yeah. Okay, here. No? Okay, fine. Thank you. You on about your day. That's an offer. But when you sell something, the whole mentality is different. There is a whole lead up process to the offer. So when you're in sales, when you have something that you want to sell, that you want somebody, and I guess that's the key difference. When offering somebody, you really don't care if they take what it is you're offering. That's the difference right there. There really is no, it's a whatever. But when you are selling something, you specifically want that individual to take what it is you are selling. That's the core difference right there. And because of that, the approach is different. The whole scenario, the whole mentality, even the way we package our product or whatever it is we're selling is different because now we want something to happen on purpose. So that's the difference between offering and selling. And again, I'm not at $1 million mark because I have not had anything to sell. Well, that changed just within the matter of weeks because I was like, gosh, daughter, kids, there y'all go again, inspiring me. Because, right, we could reach if we had something to sell. It's funny, I created a whole online sales course and never sold it. And that's something we'll talk about later. I have this online sales course just sitting there, and I was like, I don't want to talk about sales. It's not what I want to do, so I kind of just scrapped the whole thing, even though a few people found it useful. But it's like I've never sold nothing, which is why I have not reached that mark. So if you want to make $1 million, you have to have something to sell, okay? And again, for those of us around, let me just see, show it in the comments if you are 100% self-employed. I think I asked this before, so I know that there are a few people who are here that are self-employed, but if you're new and self-employed, let me know. And if you don't mind, share with me what it is that you sell, okay? Put that in the comment, bring it up. Okay, Francis, I appreciate you being transparent with it. Says that you're a self-employed on-site inspector who's getting into rentals but don't sell anything either. Excellent. I'm glad that you were transparent. I appreciate that, Francis. But here's the thing, though. You might sell something you don't even know it. Maybe you may have to reposition it or word it differently. I was having this conversation with my mother. It was yesterday. We were having to talk, how do you make $1 million? Because she wants to start her own business, but she wants to write. All right, she wants to do a blog. She wants to write about her experiences. She wants to write about her journey and encourage other people to talk about their journey. And she was like, but that's not really selling nothing. I don't know what I would sell. It's a blog. It's just me sharing my experiences. And I'm like, she right, made me think. But then I'm like, again, mind shift, right? We have to change the way we view things. So I say there's still a way, even for a blog, to sell something. And she was like, well, what would a blog sell? I said, one, if the blog becomes popular enough, depending on the audience that's engaged in the blog, you can sell what's called customer acquisition services. And it sounds fancy, and it really ain't, but think about it. Every business that exists cannot exist without a customer. Every business. I don't care. You can name any business on this planet. It cannot exist without a customer. So every business needs customer acquisition services. So if you have a blog that's bringing in all this traffic, and there's a business out there that has a product or service that wants to sell that product or service to your audience, then you can offer that business customer acquisition services by allowing them to advertise on your blog. Now, just with a mind shift, we determined that a blog can offer or can sell, right? Because remember, we got to have something to sell. A blog can sell customer acquisition services by way of advertising. Still, something to sell. That is what we need to do to make $1 million. Okay? But let's see here. Oh, let's see. We got a few other people that's going to make some money here. So Natalie says not yet, but hoping to be one day with the upcoming makeup line. Man, that's a beautiful industry to be in. The beauty industry is probably one of the richest industries to be in. And if you have a product to sell, I've got a good feeling that you'll make $1 million. No doubt. Okay. Again, Uncle Vin says, well, this is what you do. Amazon affiliate selling CBD products on Amazon. Good. You have a product to sell. I'm getting excited. I'm getting chill bumps because in my opinion, as long as you have something to sell, you can make $1 million. That's the part two here. Let's see here. We got Coach 29 said, I am employed but have a hobby turned side hustle because people wanted my show. Okay. I'm not committed to grow it intentionally, and I'm offering photo print and cards and announcement. Again, you're selling something. Okay. But for you, like I do believe, if I misunderstood, correct me, but you already have a regular, let's just say 9 to 5. You had this hobby, people like the products, and now it just turned all of a sudden like into a business. To me, that's one of the better things. Like you just did something, people saw it and was like, man, I gotta have that. That's something you can sell to make $1 million. Okay. Let's see here. We are okay. I've been self-employed. Miss Mitchell, I do believe it says been self-employed for 8 months. Congratulations. Started doing hair. That's good. Selling a product, but we gonna talk about you versus everybody else here. And Let's see here. Renee says that you need to make $278, 365. Well, no. In order to make $1 million, we've determined that we need $2,740 times 365, and that will give us our $1 million. All right. So again, let me put this back here on the screen here. We see $115 an hour or $2,740 a day times 365 days would get us to that mark. So now we know we have to sell something. Okay. The next thing to do is talk about what is it that we're selling and at what price point. Okay. At what price point? Let me share my screen here with you. Give me a second. I want to bring this up. So here is, you can go to census.gov. You can see the website right here at the top, right? uscensus.gov. That's why I am the population clock. As of right now, as of June 27, 2020, we have 329,856,837 people here in the U.S. That's a lot of people. If we go down further here, right, we can say there's one birth every 8 seconds. Unfortunately, somebody loses a loved one every 12 seconds, okay? So 329 million people on this earth. And we said we need to sell something. So again, the first part of it is to, one, change the way we look at it. We took $1 million, broke it all the way down to something more manageable, something we could attain per hour or per day. We understood that in order to really get to that number as business owners, we must sell something. We can't offer nobody anything. We have to sell. And sales is a mentality. Sales is an approach. Sales is more than just, not caring whether they take it or not. No, we purposely want them to take this. That's their sales. And there's a lot of things that go into that. But now let's try to figure out, okay, now that we know we need to sell something, at what price point do we sell it? So this is where pricing comes in. We can, as my wife said during this conversation, yeah, it's easy to make $1 million. Ask 1 million people to give you $1. In theory, that works, right? We can literally ask 1 million people, and as we just saw on the according to the U.S. Census, right, there's over 300 million people here in the U.S. So 1 million out of 329, that is really less than 8%. They may come up to a third, right, or 0.3 or something like that. So we just have to ask less than 0.3% of the population for $1 million. For $1. Okay? But that's a lot of work. That would be a lot of work, right? To ask 1 million people for $1. Or to sell a product to 1 million people and profit $1. It's a lot of work. So the next question that you would have to ask yourself if you're trying to make $1 million is something that you want to attain. The next question is to ask yourself, is what you're selling, is the price point you're selling it at worthy of $1 million? And so here's what I mean, right? We can ask 1 million people for $1. We can ask 500,000 people for $2. We can ask 250,000 people for $4, right? You kind of see where I'm going at, like the higher the asking price, the less of the people we need to attain this goal, right? We can go all the way down to say we can ask one person for $1 million. If you have $1 million product and you have one person that buys it, then by all means, you've just made $1 million, right? Simple. So does your product, does the pricing, your current pricing structure, is it worthy of $1 million? And if it is, have you really sat down and broken down like how many units of my particular product must I move in order to make $1 million? Okay. So I've thought about it. And what I want to do, obviously, because I said I really enjoy teaching, create a course. Well, I have a course, right? The Self-Employed Tax Academy. I just kind of took it down because all of the changes that took place with all the tax laws. So I'm going to go ahead and revamp that and put it back. And I looked at the price point, like how many units would I have to sell in order to reach that point? And my number was about maybe, it was under 3,000. I don't remember the number exactly. It was like 27 or some change or 28, but I know it was under 3,000. If I can move just 3,000 units of this one product, I can make $1 million. And that's selling the product under $1,000. Matter of fact, yeah, under $500. All I would need is 3,000 units. That to me seems attainable. Now here's the thing. And this is where, it's easy in theory, but this is where the journey comes in at. Because in order for us to really reach those huge amounts of numbers, we are going to have to invest in our business. We are going to have to spend some money. Okay? You know the old saying, it takes money to make money. But, I want to look at something else here. Let me pull this back up here on the screen. Where'd it go? Put this number back up here. Oopsie. 115 per hour. Okay. Let's just say we had a product and we profited, I don't know, you yourself, 115 for 24 hours straight. That's what the goal is. But we cannot work 24 hours straight. Some of us have tried. Some of those of you who are true grind all day, all night hustlers, entrepreneurs, you probably didn't went 24 hours. But we can't go 24 hours for long, right? We have to get sleep. We have to eat, have to rest, got to take a vacation, right? You got to enjoy yourself because ain't no point of making money if you can't enjoy it. There's not a point. So, again, when we just broke down the numbers, here we're looking at 115. Let me go back up to our big number here on screen. I want to put that number back up here. $1 million. Like I just said, we can ask 1 million people for $1. We can ask 500,000 people for $2, so forth and so on, down till we get down to we could ask one person for $1 million. So again, we're selling a product. We want to be able to profit $1 million worth of things. Well, how does that work if you, just you, are the only one in the business? That becomes kind of difficult, right? That becomes rather challenging. And if you think about what's the reason for business, right? What is the core purpose of a business? Well, the core purpose of a business is to generate more business, right? It's supposed to be this, what I'm trying to say here, it's supposed to be self-generating, right? It's supposed to be almost on autopilot. That's the idea of your business. But if we don't change even that mentality, right, as solopreneurs, single member LLCs, single member businesses, sole proprietors, we're the only one doing it, we can still reach $1 million, but it is just going to be either extremely long or it may be a little bit of a challenge. But what if we figured out a way to sell our product at the price point that we've determined we needed it to be? We figured it out. We've done all the work. We've got the process going on. We built the sales funnel. We know everything is good to go, is happening for us on a consistent basis, right? What if we duplicated ourselves? How much more could we make? How many more duplications would we need to have in order for that to happen, right? So let's see here. Let's go back to what was that? We divided this number by 365. That gave us 2740. All right, let's look at 2740. That's the number. That's our goal. Let's take that goal. And let's just say, for example, you had a product valued at $50. Let's put the product. That was what you sold a product for. And that, when you sold that product, your profit, okay, minus everything that it made to get that product in play and sold. But every time you sold that product, you profited $50. Let's just say round number $50, right? And let's just say you were a regular human being. You worked 8 hours a day, but let's say you worked 6 days a week, right? You kind of, instead of that 5 day, you work 6. Let's give you something. Just give yourself 6, okay? So let's see. At 8 hours a day times, let me get my calculator here. Well, you know what I'm gonna do? Okay. So we know 2740 is our goal. Let me write this at the top. 2740 is our goal. So we work 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. That gives us a capacity of 48 hours, right? Now, if we were to sell this product and we profited $50 per sale, and let's just say we were on a roll. We were guaranteed that every hour we worked, we would make that $50. So if we take that 48 hours and we multiply it times the $50, then that gives us $2,400 a day. Okay. Now remember, what was our goal? Was it 365? 2740 was our goal. So we're a little short there. Not bad though, right? 2740 was our goal per day. And if we sold our product and we guaranteed that we made, $50 a day off each sale, man, we would make 24. We'd be close. Absolutely. But again, what if we multiplied that number by 365? So we do that. This is us working 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, guaranteeing we making $50 profit for every hour we worked. We multiply that by 365. Will we come close? Almost, right? $876, still not a bad number. Okay. But, oops, what am I doing here? Let's see, what was our number? We were at 8 times 6 times 50. So wrote that down. All right, so in a day, we'd make 2,400. Not bad at all. Real good. Again, this is a very generic scenario we just seen. But what I'm getting at is what if, just for the sake, what if we duplicated that? What if we brought somebody on, right? What if we brought somebody onto a team? We hired somebody, and I know hiring in itself is a very challenging process, trying to hire somebody, because most people, they just want the paycheck. They don't share the same passion as you do. So it may be hard to get them to do what you do and be able to duplicate that, even though you train them. That's why you hire for the passion. You hire somebody who's on fire, right? You hire for hunger. That's the term I was looking for. I've heard people say that. Hire for hunger. So let's say you hired somebody, paid them, decent wage, and at the end of the day, it cost you $25 to hire this person. And that $25 included the wage, included the payroll taxes, included the insurance, including everything. That was your cost to hire that person. And they worked 8 hours a day, but they only worked 5 days a week. Now, you know what? Let's go down. Let's say they worked maybe even part. So let's say they did 6 hours a day and they did 5 days a week, right? They did 6 hours a day times 5 days a week. There we go. I knew the math was off. That's 30, right? We see that 30 there. That's how many hours they work. And let's say the same process, you taught them to do the same thing, they're selling something, and they do that times $50. That's their price, what they make. So they're bringing in an extra $1,500, but let's divide that, right? Because $50, then we got to, I'm going to say divide that by 2 because that's half. You got to pay them half. So that's an additional $750 that you'll profit off of one person. You was making 24. The goal is 2740. That puts us way over the daily goal. And we're doing it in 8 hours. Not the 24 hours. Right? Not the 24 hours a day. We're doing it in 8. Because now we have somebody, we're duplicating the process. And how, I guess the math would be, let's look at 2740. I'm going to do something here. 2740 divided by, what's the number we just looked at? I don't know, 740, I think it was. So you probably would need 4 people doing that. You would need 4 people working 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, making you $50 an hour, and that would allow you to make $1 million without you even having to work. Just something to think about, right? Just something to think about. And that's it. And again, that was a very generalized example because making $50 every single hour would be the challenge. But there are so many tools nowadays. Email marketing, text message marketing, automatic ads. You can see ads on everything, man. There's so many tools of automation out there that it is possible to duplicate yourself. So I don't see why or how we can't make $1 million in a year. I'm going to challenge myself to do it. I'm going to mark this day, put it down there, and I am going to see if it can be done. I'm going to develop something to sell. My price point will be a lot higher than $50, right? But I know I have a goal of $2,740 a day. Okay? So that's what, 2740 times 30, right? 30 days in a month or 31 or whatever average. So 85,000, I'm going to say 82,000 or 83,000, always round up. I like the next highest number. $83,000 a month. Is that possible? Can we do it selling at that price point? Again, me by myself may not be able to do it. But even if I'm selling it online something, again, so many tools that are out there nowadays. Even if I'm selling something online, week before last, we talked about affiliate marketing, right? Becoming an affiliate for somebody. Well, what if I was the affiliate, right? What if I create this online product and I create an affiliate link and I implore other people to sell my product and I give them a commission? Is that not the same thing? Is that not me duplicating my process? Is that not me duplicating the process, the profit? I say we can do it. I think all of it is we really have to sit down, and this is where maybe the challenge may come in, right? Because we're going to have to think. But I believe that everybody on this group, that everybody on this video watching has that capacity. Even if we got to sit down in some sort of mastermind group and hash out the details, I believe it can be done. Absolutely. I see a few comments here, so let me kind of go back here. Yes. Walter says, where'd it go? $1 million divided by 365 by 24 will get you. Yes, it will. Absolutely. Absolutely. Man. Oh, man. Here we got the expert chiming in here. So let me make sure I put his comment out here. Let's see. Shia says, after 12 continued hours of work, we reach a point of diminished returns whereby your efficiency drops to a point where you'll be wasting more time. That's why I said we can't work. It wouldn't work, right? If we were the only ones working, it wouldn't be pointless. Mr. Simmons said it so perfectly. There does come a point of diminished returns. And that's going to be our guest speaker next week. I'm really encourage y'all to chime in. Cheyenne, Mr. Simmons from IGotSense.com has agreed. He will be here with us next Friday to talk sense to us, right? To really talk about what like the comment he just shared, what it means, and what point would it not make financial sense to continue to do this, right? So I'm super excited to have him on as a guest, and we can go there. Mr. Bennett says something, I'm assuming this is something you want to sell. Hand sanitizer in 2020, guaranteed. If you was in a hand sanitizer business and back in February, by now you'd be a millionaire. I'm just saying, because it is hard to find hand sanitizer. Like, my goodness. So yes, if you had that product to sell, then you would definitely be a millionaire here. What is this here? It says, Francis, what are you saying to me? 48 hours per week at 8 hours a day, 8 times 5 is 48 a week plus 50. Nope, I don't think that right. 48 hours, if we do the math, let me see. Let me put the calculator back, right? Make sure I'm doing your math. 48 hours, right? Let me clear this, right? 48 hours a week times $50 products. That would be 2,400. Yeah, so maybe I didn't put the 2,000 up there. I don't know what happened, Francis. I apologize. But, man, yes, that's 24 per week. The goal is 2740. All right, so we're short 27, so we still need 37. About 3740 short. But with the example I said, if you can hire somebody, right, to duplicate that process, we'd be good to go. And I think that's where millionaires, their idea is to let me get somebody else to duplicate this process. I remember reading a story about a Harvard grad had a conversation with a man who had a fishing boat. And if y'all remember that story, help me here. But I do believe the Harvard grad saw the man with the fishing boat, and they just had a conversation. And in the conversation, the man with the fishing boat was like, yeah, I do good for myself, right? I'm able to support my family. I'm able to do a lot of things that I wanted to do. The fisherman was like, I'm good with just this one boat. Cool, I don't need to do nothing else. I'm good. So the man with the Harvard grad was like, that's good. But what if you duplicated that? What if you trained somebody, show them how you do the process, put you 50 more boats out there at the same time? How much better would you be? And again, the only difference between the fishermen and the Harvard grads was the way they think. That was completely it. So if we want to get $1 million, we got to change the way we view things. We have to learn to trust people more, right? If somebody's out there selling your product and they, I don't know, they not selling it the way you want to, retrain, right? Don't say I'm not gonna hire nobody. Can't nobody do it like I can do it. Well, then you're like limiting yourself, because as Mr. Simmons says, there does come a point where after so long you're not making money, you're wasting it, right? So we have to be able to duplicate ourselves and get busy here. Make sure I got everybody here. Oh boy, oh boy, I want to make sure I miss nobody yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to it here. Scalability, yes, here we is. Are we gonna put all this here? Oh no, it kind of cuts off, boss. But Mr. Simmons talking about scalability right here. The increased demand for your product requiring such much as additional human capital. Example, one barber can only cut a maximum of 14 to 16 heads per day. In order to duplicate that process, it's better to sell booth space and train new barbers instead of trying to cut more heads per day. Absolutely, right? Just changing the way we think will change our lives dramatically. So can we make $1 million? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so glad to be able to know somebody like Mr. Simmons who understands that concept. And I'm so glad that he'll be here with us next week. And we can kind of talk about that. The money management mentality, right? The millionaire mentality. How do we actually get there? It is possible. Remember, there's 18.6 million millionaires here in the U.S. Absolutely possible. The only difference between us and them is the way that we think. So if we change our mind, we change our lives, and we'll be good to go. Let me scroll through some of these and make sure I didn't miss nobody here. Because I see I got pages upon pages of comments here. I want to make sure I got everybody. All right. Nope, got a lot of see a lot of folks doing the math there. I like it. I love it. Okay. That's it. Cool. I don't think I missed much tonight, man. But again, so glad to have you here. It is now 7 o'clock. We have reached 1 hour on the dot, man. So I guess it's time for us to go ahead and get ready to go and call it a night, man. Again, thank you for everybody who tuned in. Much appreciated you being here. Remember, can you make $1 million? The answer is yes. And that's all we did tonight was kind of looked at $1 million for what it really is, broke it down to a daily number. We went as far as to broke it down to what that number is in an hour. If you can, sell something, right? You have to be able to sell something. You can sell something at a low ticket price. You can sell something for $1. You just got to sell it to 1 million people. You can sell something that's, $1 million, and you just have to sell it to one person, which is why a lot of people like dealing in real estate because, the profits are high. I think I had a comment here. There was somebody, and I hope I didn't miss it. Yeah, it says, and this comes from Crystal Ohms, says, how can we go about becoming a millionaire through investments like our 401ks? To me, can you become a millionaire with a 401k? It's possible. The only thing is, because with 401ks, we're investing in other companies, we're investing in ETFs, we're investing into mutual funds. We have to do the research to see, okay, where am I going to put my money? Yes, we can make, remember, $1 million is simply $2,740 a day. I spoke on it from the perspective of being in business, selling tangible products at a profit that will get you $2,740 a day. But you can mix that bag, right? You can take that and say maybe you only made half of that from your business. The other half can be from investments. It's just making sure we get to that goal, $2,740 a day, $84,000 a month. What does that look like? Break down, play with the numbers. That's all I'm asking. That's all I want you to do. Play with the numbers, break it down, get it pen and paper. Like at my current position, with my current product, with my current pricing structure, what would it take for me to reach $2,740 a day? What does that look like? What if I hired somebody, taught them the process? Could I possibly reach that goal? What does that look like? And then try it, right? What's the worst that can happen? You make $1 million? Oh my God, that'd be terrible if you made $1 million. That would suck, wouldn't it? Of course not. But I'm saying, that's what we talked about today. Again, so glad. Thank you for everybody who was here. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. Even for those of you watching the replay, I appreciate you. You see all the social media things there. If you're on Facebook, give me a follow, thumbs up. Instagram, you'll see my handle there. And if you're new here on YouTube, consider subscribing, hit the bell. And that's it for me, your favorite Uncle Cousin. Until next time, you guys take care, stay safe, stay home, stay healthy, do what you guys need to do. And I will see you